Well, hello everyone. My name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. You can hear something crunching in the background. It's a cat, not a mimic, I assure you. We're covering a Universal Antagonists and their minions this month, and I'm going to delve right directly into the cult that serves this antagonist right now. Seems that Panda is finished eating, so let's go ahead and start talking. As a reminder, this month we're talking about the Lodge Master, a demon who takes the guise of a distinguished older gentleman who is an accomplished hunter, a man's man, and a ladies' man, and founds lodges that cater to rich and powerful young men. All the while he's working to corrupt them, lead them down a dark, infernalist path, and let them loose on society to prey on common folk and to destroy the upper ranks. So all the evil kind of trickles down, as it were. Today we have a 2-for-1 special. We're going to talk about some actual human members of the cult themselves, and that is the Lodge Pup and the Lodge Redwolf, and they kind of go together, so that's why we're going to go ahead and cover them both. As a quick reminder, though, the themes that really go with the Lodge Master and all of his minions are body horror, demonic horror, corruption horror, and class horror. And these cult members really embody all 4 aspects, especially that class horror and that corruption horror around kind of a toxic masculinity. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, each cult the Lodge Master establishes has its own unique name, symbology, and social rules on a surface level. One might present as a social club for blue blood hunters to gamble and drink in between fox chases. Another might be an elite safari company catering to wealthy merchants, while another might be an exclusive boarding school that is purported to teach young noblemen military skills and the like. However, behind closed doors or when involved in dark deeds, their trappings are all the same. Lodge members wear deep red frock coats with polished bone buttons, bright red cravats and sashes, riding boots, assorted personal fetishes, and carved bone masks denoting their rank. While Lodge members can use a variety of weapons, all of them carry a Lodge knife with them. This cleaver is roughly the size of a short sword, its wide blade stamped with a wolf's skull, and its hilt bound in human leather. Lodge pups specifically, they've only just been introduced to the inner circle of the cult within this lodge. While they don't have a full picture of the evil that they have waded into, the pup has tasted its depravity and finds the savage, chaotic lifestyle intoxicating. The pup is then trained in advanced fighting and hunting techniques. Behind closed doors, they are slowly initiated into infernalism, their empathy stripped away until only an animal-like cruelty remains. Pups that balk at any point on this path are hunted down, butchered, and eaten by their fellow initiates. Pups wear a very basic bone mask that is crafted from a wolf's skull. Let's go ahead and take a look into the Lodge Pup statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. As a note, all of these were originally made for a setting that I was running that had firearms, specifically flintlocks, but you could substitute any of that for crossbows, heavy crossbows, hand crossbows, if that's more appropriate for your setting. Lodge Pups are a challenge rating 1 chaotic evil humanoid. They do have a plethora of skills one would expect for a fledgling hunter, but aren't really too dangerous in that sort of regard. They do have an ability called Killer Instincts. Whenever they attack a creature that is half hit points or lower, they have a crit range of 19 through 20 instead of 20 alone. They also have an ability called Stalwart, where they have advantage on saving throws against fear-based effects. They carry a Lodge blade, as mentioned earlier, as well as a musket, which again you could easily substitute with a crossbow or a heavy crossbow as appropriate. If a Lodge Pup has survived long enough and become corrupted enough, they become a Lodge Redwolf. A Lodge Redwolf has completely forsaken their humanity and strives to become a primal terror. They become used to cannibalism as a pup and take the vile act to the next level. They not only consume the meat of their prey, but fragments of its soul as well. At the same time, they become experts in their preferred armaments and as efficient as any forest predator. Redwolves make up the majority of a Lodge's members. They are responsible for training Lodge pups and leading hunts against Lodge washouts. The Lodge Redwolf's mask is the same one they wore as a pup, but is now stained blood red as it's bathed over and over and over again in the blood of their victims. Redwolves commonly have a war mask, mastiff, or wolf as a hunting companion. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a Lodge Redwolf statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The Lodge Redwolf is a challenge rating 3 medium humanoid who is chaotic evil. They have better hit points and better armor class than a pup would have. They still have the survival skills you would expect, but now they are immune to the frightened condition instead of just having advantage on saves against it. They also still have killer instinct, but on top of that they have feral tread, so they ignore natural difficult terrain in forest and plains. They also have an ability called Devour Power, so if they spend the entire turn carving out and eating the heart of a beast, humanoid, or monstrosity that's been killed in the last minute, they gain 2d6 temporary hit points. Furthermore, this Redwolf gains 10 feet of additional movement and dark vision of 60 feet for a number of turns equal to the slain creature's hit dice. They also have firearm knowledge, but again, you can go ahead and swap that out for another ability as needed that might be better suited to your campaign. That has to do with crossbows, like Crossbow Expert, for example. They have the Lodge Blade, a musket, and a pistol. These are, again, the callow youth that have been absorbed into the Lodge, and they've really internalized that kind of blue bloods are better than everyone else. We are the hunters in society. It's our job to cull the weak. We can use them however we want sort of mentality that the Lodge Master loves. There's not a whole lot of body horror to them quite yet. There's more Lodge members to go, but they definitely have that sort of demonic horror aspect of an infernal cult, and we just kind of touched on the class horror and corruption horror aspect of them. I would love to hear how you would use them and the rest of the Lodge in your campaign. I really do hope that you enjoyed the Lodge Pup and the Lodge Redwolf in a 2-for-1 special. You can find them, the rest of the Lodge's minions and master, along with hundreds of other horror-themed monsters for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition that are all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons horror role-playing content that I have, or the horror fiction that I write that includes grease paint right here, you can always go to www.zacharioshay.com. As always, thank you for your time and your attention, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.